today I am making Rouladen. Now this is a German dish I grew up eating a lot when I was younger. And I'm going to make my version of it. First off, we start off with the meat. Now see, I have flank steak. Normally you would use like a top round steak or whatever, but I've trimmed it and I've sliced it very, very thin and try to cut off most of the fat here. But you can use any kind of meat. What I did was trim it, then I pounded it down and got it to where it's real thin and everything like that. And so now I'm going to get it ready so I can assemble it, and I'm going to put it in the oven. Okay, so how we assemble it is, first we take some mustard. Now you can use regular, as you see I'm using regular old yellow mustard. Some people like to put Dijon, fancy mustard, whatever kind of mustard like, you can use it. And then I put some bacon on here, raw bacon, not cooked. And I'm going to kind of put it the same length as the meat here. So it's a little bit bigger, so I'll slice it. Okay. And I like to use thin bacon. Some people like thick, but I think I like the thinner better. Alright, so we have that here, and as you can see, my bacon, my mustard. Now I'm going to take my pickle, and I'm going to take the smallest end first, because that way it gets nice and covered, and just roll it all the way up here. Missed some mustard, which I got plenty of it right here. Alright, then roll it up. Keep rolling. Roll it nice and tight. And it should look just like this. See that there? Now some people use string, some people use toothpicks. I like everything easy, so I just roll it up. And when you see the or where you folded it right here, this side's going to go down in your pan. So where it looks like that, so that's where it looks like. Now I'm going to go ahead and assemble the rest of them, and I'll be right back. Okay, as you see, I've rolled up all the Rouladens. Now there was a couple of things I wanted to point out. Number one is that I used skirt steak meat. You can use any kind of thin meat that you would like. Usually round top steak. I've seen people use pork, chicken. So any type of meat you'd like. The only thing is you want to make sure it's very thin. Sliced very thinly. And the other thing is that I didn't put any seasoning on my meat, so now I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle it with a little bit of salt. Alright, now the other thing that we're gonna put in there is about 1 cup of beef bouillon, and just kind of get it in here, pour it over the meat. That's what's gonna also help give it its good, nice flavor when it's cooking. Okay, so we have about 1 cup in there of beef bouillon. Now if you're using powdered, I used 2 tablespoons of powder with 1 cup of water. Alright, now we're gonna add another cup, or about 1 cup of water. Alright, so that's about 2 cups of water. Notice I don't want it all the way up to the top, but I also don't want it all the way down to the bottom, because as this is cooking, it's going to steam and it has to cook for a while. So we're going to put the aluminum foil on it. Now the other thing that you'll notice that I did not do, because when I cook, I want it to be as simple as possible. I don't want to stand around cooking for days. Some people, when they get to the stage where you saw it rolled up, will get out their little Dutch oven pan or cast iron pan and they'll start browning it. I do not do that, because after this is done cooking and most of the liquid is evaporated, and I take the foil off, I let it sit in there for a little bit longer and it'll brown itself. So now it's ready for the oven, and For the temperature, I have it at 375. Okay, so for my sides, while the meat is cooking, I have some red potatoes here. And I have put about 2 cups of water in there. And I'm going to let that boil for about 20 minutes. And over here, I have some chicken stock, which is about 2 tablespoons again, with approximately 4 cups of water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my broccoli in there. Now notice my broccoli is in a strainer. Now you can use a wire strainer or a colander strainer, any type of strainer, and this just makes it easy so that way you don't have to pour out the liquid. Now I'm going to put my lid back on top of here, and both of these sides are, oh, I forgot. I'm going to put some lemon pepper on top of my broccoli. If I can get it open. So I'm going to put some lemon pepper on my broccoli and season it pretty well. Okay. And that is going to steam for about 20 minutes. And my potatoes are going to be about 20 minutes also. But when the potatoes are done, I'm going to add butter and some herbs to it. Okay, so my potatoes are done. And as you see, I am stirring it around. Sorry. As you see, I'm stirring it around here, and if you can see, I have some ranch powdered seasoning, and I put probably about 2 tablespoons of butter and probably about 3 tablespoons of ranch dressing just to get it coated. And on low heat, as you see here, I was kind of late getting to that. So we want to stir that around. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to put more butter. I only put 2 tablespoons, but I think I'm going to put a little bit more. But as you see, that's almost done. And then we have the broccoli here, and that is done also. So both of those were on. Okay, so the potatoes are done, and I actually ended up adding about 3/4 of butter, so like 3/4 of a stick of butter, and I added my ranch seasoning. And over here, you see the broccoli, it's all nice and steamy, and that'll be easy to take out. Okay, and then now we also have the rouladen that's done, and it actually took me about 4 hours. And oh, be careful when you lift up the lid. And I had to put a second aluminum foil on it because the first aluminum foil I had on it was too thin. But if you're using a round steak or another kind of poultry, it normally only takes like 2 hours to cook this. But as you can see, I didn't need to brown it. It browned itself. And so then I'm going to plate it. And there you go. Okay, well, here's the finished product. So I have the rouladen, which I use flank steak. And I cut it very thin. And I cooked it at 375 for 4 hours. With 2 cups of water with beef broth, and I used 1 cup beef broth and 1 cup water. And then the broccoli, I put 4 cups of water with 1 cup included in the 4 cups of beef or chicken broth, and then I seasoned it with lemon pepper. And the potatoes, I used red potatoes, and I put 4 cups of water in both the broccoli and the potatoes I cooked for 20 minutes till they were soft. And after the potatoes were boiling just in plain water, I seasoned it with ranch dressing and 3/4 of a stick of butter. And there's our meal for tonight. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And you see, cooking is very easy. And also with the rouladen, I didn't brown it before I put it in the pan. I just used it as it was. Now I have about 2 rouladens per person, so that came out to about 2 pounds of meat. And I used the flank steak, and if you'll notice how the rouladen is rolled up, I rolled it up with the grain, so that way when you cut it, you're cutting against the grain and it is much tender. Well, I hope you guys enjoy what Nini's cooking.